Welcome back with another banger. It's the React Files. Hope you're having a good night. Let's get straight to it.
I came here to get food. Why are you giving me my money?
Here you go, ma'am. Have a nice night. You want to see her all day? Hey, baby, pull around her. Pull around her, okay? Because she acting...
Well, I pay for my money. You have to give me the food. You see what McDonald's people did to me?
You got your money back?
No.
You didn't get your money?
She threw it down. I don't know where she threw
your money.
She didn't give me any money. She just walked out, insulted me, and went away.
Everybody
She said she don't got her money.
Ignore her. Ignore her. At this point.
Yeah. Give my money.
Get out of here.
Give my money back. If you're not giving me the food, give my money back. If you don't give me the food, give my money back.
I'm going to pray for you, girl.
Give my money back.
I will pray for you tonight. I gave you the money.
Where's the money?
Are you on
money?
Are you on
Only you can be on good. Just to get food.
Bye.
I came here to get food. You guys will not give me food. You will not give my money back. I've been waiting for 2 minutes for them to give me a French fries and an Oreo McFlurry. And I've been waiting here for 3 minutes.
Honey, please, move it, please.
I've been waiting here for 3 minutes. I either need food or they give my money back.
Okay. Here's your money back. Okay, my food, please. One moment, please. Here you go.
Bruh, how you gonna record yourself lying? Lady, you got your money, now go home.
Oh my goodness, this is one of the wildest things I have seen, and this is not your average robot. This is the Clone Alpha by Clone Robotics, and this contains all 206 bones that the human body contains, and they are fully articulated with artificial ligaments and connective tissues. Now, they're very high on the hand function of these robots. I'm going to show you the raw clip in a second, but just listen to this. The hand functions with human-level thumbs, surgical precision, a trigger finger, and it is compatible with human tools. And it's not going to walk like other robots. It says, finally, a robot that walks naturally. And it says, do it once and the clone will do it forever. They have a telekinesis training platform. I don't even know how that's possible. This technology is absolutely insane. I guess you can reserve one of these things this year in 2025, but just check out the raw clip and the music that they used.
Yo, that's that Resident Evil 4 right there. That's crazy. Shout out to You Won't Believe Me Official. They're taking this robot thing to the next level, for real.
Afternoon, everybody. Some massive news in the UAP world. So, 1997, everybody remembers the alien interview video, don't they? Victor, yeah? If you don't, take a look at this clip. I found the interview on YouTube. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about the interview. I'm going to be back shortly to tell you why I'm playing it.
I'm sorry. It's very hard for me to watch this.
So guys, that was the footage released back in 1997. That video today has never been debunked. It's had two movie special effects guys look at it. One had no interest in it at all and basically turned around and said it's not real. The other one said that it was an extremely good fake, but then sort of took a step back and said the guy could have a job in Hollywood today because it was that good. Now, the reason why I am bringing this up, tomorrow is going to be massive. There is apparently going to be some absolute shocking evidence that this video is 100% real. This is going to be divulged on the podcast The Night Shift with Jon Stewart. make sure you tune into this, because this will be absolutely huge. This is one of those videos that has never been proved to be real or unreal, and now they are saying that this is going to be 100% proved to be real. So have a great day, guys. Don't forget, Kaz Clark's going live later today. Make sure you tune in for some absolutely mind-blowing topics as normal. And then tomorrow, make sure you tune in to the Night Shift podcast with John Stewart to see what this evidence is. And then I'll be doing a little bit of a review after it. Have a good day, guys. Appreciate the support. Please do like and share, and I'll be back soon.
Yo, that's crazy. If that's real, like if they have some documents that prove that it is, bro, we might have to hit the archives of 1997 and see what else we find.
We got an interesting series of lights coming out of Mexico that flew over some fields, then over the highway and off again and vanished. Look at this, right? I'm not entirely sure what to think. I mean, it seems like the pattern changes as it approaches the highway, and then it kind of organises and goes to a different shape. Look at that, mate. Right? That is hella interesting, okay? It has a quite strange shape. You can kind of see some sort of like things just below the lights, but I don't know, man. It's almost like a pitchfork formation, like it's got lines and it goes up like that, and then it just immediately just turns and changes shape. Like, what? Look at that. That's mega. Alright? I don't know. It could be something anomalous, or it could be a series of drones, but according to the video and the guy in the video, they made no noise. So, again, very strange, because it seems to be quite lower towards the freeway there. I don't know, mate. You guys let me know what you think. I thought this was hella interesting, alright?
They look like Dior bags. Shout out to Interstellar Discussion.
Earth is hot, with 3 circular layers and more advanced civilization than ours. There are 3 openings to inner Earth, 2 near the poles and 1 in the Himalayas, and he's not the only one. I'll give you a little distance. In 1846, Marshall Gardner's discovery of an extinct woolly mammoth frozen in Siberia as evidence to a hollow earth. Gardner thought that mammoths and other extinct creatures wandered freely in the interior of the earth. This one had wandered outside by using the hole at the North Pole, was frozen, and carried to Siberia on an ice floe. Also, Jules Verne wrote our famous Journey to the Center of the Earth, which correlates with this theory. Now, you'd be wondering, why doesn't anyone just lie to people and check if their movies and evidence? Well, that did happen. In 1926, Admiral Richard Byrd of the US Navy flew to the North and South Poles. In his diary, he tells of entering the hollow interior of the Earth and traveling over mountains, lakes, rivers, vegetation, and animal life. He eventually found cities and was greeted by a type of flying machines he had never seen before. There's even a retired colonel in the US Air Force who thinks that he and his twin sister were born in the hollow earth. Some even believe that UFOs are not from other planets, but are manufactured by these beings from Earth's interior. Now, what's to say a not so man-free is next? Since icebergs are formed from fresh water, not salty ocean water, they couldn't be formed from the Arctic Ocean, but from some fresh body of water. Problem is, there is no such fresh body of water at the polar region. Now wait for it, and the theory stands in. It is thought that rivers coming from Earth's interior flow to the surface and freeze to form icebergs. Just the other day, actually, I was scrolling through the news headlines, and one stood out to me. Geologists baffled by massive anomalies at edge of Earth's core. Could that mean that we need to upgrade our facts about Earth's structure? Is there a hollow Earth?
If this is true, we definitely need to revise the textbook. Looks like she was doing a TED Talks. I don't think they would be letting her do this lecture if it was on some BS. Some of these stories we've heard before.
Oh my gosh, okay. Do you want to be a literal wizard? Well, guess what? You can be. There's an actual Hogwarts in America. It is in Faber, Virginia. And they teach you how to bend spoons, go out of your body, and use your consciousness to travel to other levels of the multiverse. I went there and I'm going to tell you about it. And if you're like, oh, I've heard of this place maybe? Yes, maybe in the CIA papers that have gone viral about the Gateway process. The CIA was indeed interested in them and studied the Monroe Institute and went there. Yes, this is the same one and it still exists and you can go. And I'm going to tell you about their programs, which are so cool. Basically, it was founded by this guy named Robert A. Monroe. He was a businessman, he was smart, and he wrote a book called Journeys Out of the Body and a lot of others based on how all of a sudden, after his middle life, he started to go out of his body. This is actually the one I just attended and got back from. It's called the OBE spectrum. For me, this was well worth it. This included room and board, 3 meals a day, yoga, meeting the best people I've ever met in my life. Because you spiritual people know how lonely it is sometimes. We need metaphysical, kooky friends. And it's the perfect place to meet them. And you get to learn the program. I saved up for it, and it was worth it. I'm going back. They have more programs. So this one teaches you how to have an out-of-body experience. It talks about the different kinds. There's bilocation, where your consciousness is in 2 places at once. There's actually out of the body, where you could see yourself and you're on the ceiling and you're like, whoa. You can put your hand through walls. You can fly to other places. Like, people have done this. And you learn the tools here. And some people have the out-of-bodies there. Some have it 30 days after. I experienced bilocation several times there. You also learn about lucid dreaming. I did almost go out of my body. I went like a third out. And then I got scared, which they teach you to deal with. These are some of the friends I met. I can't show the video of everyone because it's secret. But you meet people your age. And a lot of older, wiser people too. Okay, so the rest of their programs. For all the people that are like, I want to do this from home, I don't want to travel to Virginia, spoon bending they have. You literally learn how to bend spoons. And once you see that it's possible and real, your mind will not only, I can't speak today. Your mind will not only blow open, but you'll probably want to actually go there and learn more about what it is called psychokinesis, turning on light bulbs with your energy, bending spoons, more. And they have a program called MC Square that does just that. That's my next one I'm interested in. They also have a lucid dreaming course. Once again, this includes room and board, food, and the program, and meeting friends. You have one you could do at home. This one is like the most famous one, is book for a year, but this is an online one I believe you can take. Remote viewing is where they give you like coordinates or tell you to view somewhere. And then basically you have to draw what you're viewing and they say if you're really viewing it. Like, let's say they gave you coordinates of the pyramids and you didn't know that and then you drew the pyramids. That's remote viewing. Like, you see it and you're pulling in the information, but they tell you how. This is the full remote viewing. Oh, and the guy that trains you is the guy that literally made the program, I think, like for the government, called the Stargate program, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was called. And then this is the gateway experience you can do at home, or the one you can go there for. This is the one the CIA talked about in their CIA papers. And then once you really get obsessed, they have like Exploration 27, where you can go to like other dimensions and talk to like higher intelligent beings. All right, bye. Oh, and you can go to Monroe Institute, monroeinstitute.org to learn more about this. They also have a really cool app called Expand that's literally $11 a month and has like a lot of these practices on there. And trust me, it's well worth it. My mental health thanks them every day. All right, go have fun being a wizard. Bye.
There is no spoon. Shout out to Dana Kemple. I never heard of the Monroe Institute. It's crazy that the CIA studied there. I would definitely like to go learn how to bend some spoons and turn on the lights with telekinesis. That would be dope.
On April 13th in the year 2029, that's one orbit away from the 2036 date. It has a 7-year intersection orbit with Earth. On that date, April 13th, which, by the way, is a Friday. April 13th, 2029, this asteroid, named Apophis, named for the Egyptian god of death and darkness. Named, of course, only after we calculated its trajectory to intersect Earth. If it were not going to hit Earth, we could have named it like Bambi or Tiffany, something non-threatening, all right? Freddy, something that it's not hurting anybody. Name that one Apophis. So, we know for certain that Apophis, on Friday the 13th, April 2029, it's the size of the Rose Bowl. It'll get close enough to Earth that it will dip below Earth's communication satellites. It'll be the biggest, closest thing ever to come near Earth. The communication satellites are at geosynchronous orbit. It's about 23,000 miles up. This will come in at 18,000 miles. It'll be visible from Northern Europe. The Geek Set has already rented the hotel rooms there, so you're out of luck. Because they did the math and they knew when and where it was going to happen. It'll look like just a fast-moving, bright object across the night sky. Moving at about, what speed do I give it? Probably around 10 miles per second. That's hauling. That's fast. So here's the catch. Its orbit remains sufficiently uncertain. Let me back up. In the possible range of orbits it could have on that fateful day, there is an interval range where if it threads that keyhole, we call it a keyhole. It's a 600 mile, about 600 mile, several hundred mile range. If its orbit goes through that range, Earth's gravity will be just right. Or rather, just wrong. So that it will alter its orbit so that it will hit us 7 years later. So the test is it going to go through the keyhole? The latest estimates are that the likelihood, with updated data, is that the likelihood that it'll go through the keyhole is several in a million. Much better for us than the 30% first estimate or the 1 in 42,000 estimate that had been around for a couple of years. So you say, oh, not a problem. There are people who bet on the lottery with worse odds than that, expecting that they're going to win. Would you put $10 trillion in harm's way?
Now, this is a sphinx that got covered in mud from Noah's flood. All these mud floods happen worldwide. It was the flood in Noah. You could see it push mud up over the sphinx right here. It dried like concrete. The sphinx is sitting on top of a whole entire temple right here. You can see where the sediment gets pushed up, even on the steps that came in sideways, and mud wiped out this whole entire temple. These sphinxes are found all over the world, okay? Whether it's in Egypt, Greece, India, there's even one in the Grand Canyon. That's the Sphinx in Balo-Christian that got flooded. This is the Sphinx in Egypt. This is the one sitting in the Grand Canyon. You can see the Sphinx had its head knocked off somewhere. It's probably buried behind it in sediment. And that's a pyramid behind the Sphinx covered in mud. Okay? All these sphinxes and pyramids are sitting on top of that temples, the same temples that were in Balo-Christian. See right here how that sphinx in Balo-Christian is sitting on top of it. So that's going to be like your Greek and Roman ancient pillar columns right there that run across like a Colosseum. And that's going to be another top of a temple right there. And that's why when they excavated out the Sphinx in Egypt, they found all kinds of chambers and tunnels underneath, because that Sphinx is sitting on top of a temple. You see, this whole area got flooded out, but it pushed sand up in Egypt instead of mud. This is all water damage on the surface right here. 3 generations of stonemasons. The first thing I was taught to see was water damage on a stone surface. This stuff deposited sediment so thick that nothing's going to grow through it for thousands of years, okay? That's why you only see small brush and shrub growing through it, because it's literally concrete that dried. At the top, that's a temple on the other side of the Sphinx in Pakistan, okay? This is all off the coast of Hingol National Park. Right here on the bottom, that's a temple in the next country over for reference, because that's what got flooded, was an ancient temple. They line up perfectly. Same site, Balo-Christian, Pakistan. That's a temple right there, covered in concrete, dried. All them horizontal lines running across, those are the water level lines from the water dropping. Okay, and it cut into the sediment and left them patterns. I could do this all day. This is another temple. These are all temples underneath this. You could drill into this and it will be open on the inside of it, because the mud only got so far into it. They poured every single one of these pillars with special concrete. These were not carved out of mountains, shaped and casted and poured these with concrete. That does not age or weather. They used a different formula than what we're using today. This is a statue right here on the other side of the Balo-Christian site, okay? They all wanted to be worshipped as gods, so they flooded them all out. This happened worldwide. Now I'm going to take you to the petrified forest in Arizona. This is all petrified wood right here at the surface, okay? This whole entire site flooded, brought the wood to the surface, and that's why all this is sitting on top. That only happens from water right there, okay? The mineralization like that occurs only from being in water. Behind that, on the other hill right there, that's your temple right there. This whole site has buried temples underneath it, okay? These are water level lines going across the mud sediment, creating these erosion lines or mineral deposit looking marks. Just look at this. Look how big some of these tree structures are. This one looks like a giant bone. Just like this one. This is a guy standing at the end for reference, okay? This could very well be the petrified giants from the flood, wiped out all the Nephilim. This is the Grand Canyon right here. This was all flooded out. There's temples all inside of here. There was an ancient civilization buried in the Grand Canyon. What we see now is just the water the stream left from cutting all this out. Water carved all this out after it flooded. It shaped the mud sediment over the structure.
Yo, that's amazing. Shout outs to Indios 369. I'm trying to fathom how big this flood was, cause yo.
Y'all, Detroit is literally frozen. Like, these cars are frozen, and guess what? It's not gonna be hot enough to melt the ice until at the very best Monday. So for the next week straight, basically, they are stuck in ice. This whole entire predicament to me, though, is really fishy because they said that all this water, like 4 foot, 3-4 foot of water, came from a water main break. But how would it give just so much water to the point where it's covering everything? It doesn't make a lot of sense. And like I said yesterday, it's not just Detroit or Virginia or Kentucky or Tennessee. It's flooding all over the world. This is happening in Brazil simultaneously. Just cars going down the waterway. We're seeing this all over the earth. And the crazy part is with the temperatures, we're probably going to see a lot of this frozen water in all the mountainous areas that were just, flooded like a few days ago. I cannot wait to see the comments that say, oh, dude, you're so wrong. This always happens. Yeah, we're always just living in frozen over here.
I'm sorry, but that's not normal. Shout outs to the real Moon Henry. Never seen anything like this in my life. The whole block is frozen. Our prayers go out to Detroit. This is crazy.
It's an accumulator. And the key is in the layering in an orgone accumulator.
Steel wool, huh?
Uh-huh.
Interesting. And fiberglass.
See, that's
it looks like
alternating materials. See, steel wool and fiberglass. So you've got a metal and you've got a silicate. In some cases, they would use an organic material and an inorganic material, again, to create this dielectric, to create this this difference.
Potential differences, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Like
in 1940, Reich invented a way to concentrate the orgone energy. He constructed an orgone accumulator, a box whose walls, floor, and ceiling consisted of several layers of alternating organic and metallic material. Observations and experiments have shown that organic material attracts and collects orgone from the atmosphere, and that metallic material attracts and repels orgone. Thus, the organic layers of the accumulator attract and soak up orgone, and the metallic layers draw it from the organic material and radiate it into the interior of the accumulator. He went on to say, a universal, ubiquitous energy may be supposed to behave and to act according to its own inherent laws. In some cases, and further future knowledge may multiply them, the orgone energy can be directed and used for special purposes. The first application of orgone energy came with the construction of the orgone accumulator in its various forms. The accumulators are constructed to concentrate and irradiate orgone with the object of stimulating the natural functioning. A third application of the orgone energy is the cloud buster. I have already described how this can influence weather. If this apparatus could be more studied and used, in my opinion, it might be the greatest importance of all orgone devices, and which I would have to concur with that. In another work, Orgone, Reich, and Eros, Edward Mann in 1973 said, in brief, the boxes which began as observation chambers were found to draw in orgone and eventually were labeled orgone accumulators. Experiments proved, and here's crucial, the greater the layering of the walls, the greater, up to a point, the concentration or amount of orgone. In time, accumulators of up to 20 layers were built. Now, what is significant about that, Silbury Hill right here, famous earthen mound in England, not far from where Graham Hancock lives, right? So he's describing the structure of Silbury Hill. He says, excavating under the directions of Professor R.J.C. Atkinson in the last few years have revealed many details previously unknown about the methods used in the construction of Silbury Hill. That pyramid was not built in the way one might expect Stone Age aboriginals to have built it, by simply digging a ditch and shoveling the material from it into a heap in the middle as children build sandcastles on the beach. Far from it. Silbury Hill was a complex piece of engineering involving advanced methods of construction similar to those used in the Egyptian pyramids. For the main part of the hill, the material dug from the ditch was laid systematically in horizontal layers, the outer edges of which were riveted by means of sloping retaining walls made by large blocks of chalk. Extracted from a letter by Dr. G.A. Mantell in the American Journal of Science, published in 1846. I went and found the original work in which this was published, and I'll skip one page here because he's talking about mounds and relics, the mounds of Ohio and Scioto Valley, and this is what they found when they were excavating, that the merely sepulchral piles are earth mounds thrown up at random without arrangement of the materials, but those covering altars were artificially stratified, layer over layer of alternating beds of gravel, earth, and sand, but following a common curvature like a series of caps drawn over the same head. We know not why the altars were covered with so much care, or why covered at all. Probably the proceeding was interwoven with their religious notions. E.J. Squire, 1847, Observations on the Uses of the Mounds of the West with an attempt at their classification. And this is what he points out as one of the most important aspects of these mounds is the fact of stratification in the mounds. It's one of great interest and importance. The feature has heretofore been remarked but not described with proper accuracy, and has consequently proved an impediment to the recognition of the artificial origin of the mounds by those who have never seen them. The stratification, so far as observed, is not horizontal, but always conforms to the convex outline of the mound. Wow. So we can see some correlations here. Yeah. If we're open to this kind of a thing, the point being is that on both sides of the ocean, with only a cursory examination, we see that these earthwork structures bear a similar internal architecture, and this has to do with the layering and the stratification of alternative types of materials. And we found that was the basic principle behind the construction of an orgone accumulator, correct?
Correct. Göbekli Tepe was also buried that same way.
That's what I was going to ask. Is there stratification at Göbekli Tepe?
Yes, it was stratified.
You've got a whole big group out there that basically is scared looking at these alternative paradigms for whatever reason, psychological, emotional, whatever, or invested, economic, whatever. They don't want to look in the face. And you cannot just cavalierly wave your arm and make this stuff go away, because it ain't going away. We're just learning more and more how truly mysterious and deep the human past on planet Earth really is.
So because they're finding this stratification doesn't make them accumulators? You learn something new every day.
Who's really going to be verifying the gold in Fort Knox? Is that going to be Elon or the prophet Enoch? And that's next on the trumpet. Enoch is verified. You got to touch that blue check mark right there. He's been affiliated with X since 3000 BC. And 3000 BC is when the prophet Enoch translated or crossed over into the Garden of Eden. Come on, let's break out the map of time and let me tell you when Elon got verified. Right there, let's look at Enoch and then we'll read about it. Enoch, the godliness and translation of Enoch is in chapter something of Jude, and it refers to Enoch as a prophet. And that's his translation date, and that's 3000 BC. Takes a lot to get verified. On my Wednesday night live class, I didn't realize that we had already studied about Elon's verification. This all happened in 3000 BC to the prophet Enoch, and he was taken from amongst the children of men, and we conducted him into the Garden of Eden in majesty and honor. And behold, there he writes down the condemnation and judgment of the world and all the wickedness of the children of men. And the Garden of Eden right here, that's where all the gold is. And Enoch would know where the gold is. Do that live audit and they open all those empty rooms, they ought to read this passage out of the Old Testament. The silver is mine, and the gold is mine, saith the Lord of hosts. The glory of this latter house shall be greater than the former. X is not in the old alphabets because it meant to cross over. X as a mark of transition Just as an X marks a crossroad or a boundary, Enoch's journey represents crossing the boundary between mortal and immortal, earth and heaven. It's discussed right there in the book of Enoch. I thought this passage was interesting. And silver and gold perish, and their possessions perish, and in all their glory, and in all their splendor, they shall be no more. That was so 2 weeks ago, but you can join us live tonight and every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. as we read the Book of Jubilees together. You can go to my website and go to my bio page and click on my link tree right there, and it'll download the Chapter 6 study guide, and you can read right along with us. You scroll down and touch that right there, and then those 3 dots at the top will help you print it out in your browser, and you can read right along with us Chapter 6 about how they changed the calendar from 364 days. Long time ago. So why do I feel like the Book of Jubilees is important to read and the translation of Enoch is something that we should discuss? Let me read you verse 1 and chapter 1 out of the Book of Enoch. The words of the blessing of Enoch, wherewith he blessed the elect and righteous, who will be living in the days of tribulation, when all the wicked and godless are to be removed. If you see my profile lit up right there, that means I'm live. And I'll bring my Book of Enoch with me. I'll bring my map of time with me too. It's going to be as easy as 1, 2, 3. All you got to do is join the live, print out the study guide, and read right along with us. You know me and my family love you, so please like and follow the trumpet for more. And in Jesus' name, have a blessed day.
That's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed tonight's rabbit hole. If you like this video, why don't you check this one right here. Thanks again. Till next time.